Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP humanly possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every Friday when judging begins on the Fashion Report minigame. This is week 241 and the theme this time around, as you can see, is Galley Cook. The individual clues for each item include cooking up a storm for your body, a sailor's life for your legs, paying the duck bills for your feet, and jewels of white for our necklace slot. In this video we will have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest 80 possible. So let's move straight on to that 100. Okay, for the 100 score this week, as you can see, I've gone for the stained chef's apron. One of the best options for the chest then, as we said, is the stained chef's apron, and you can get that from a junkmonger over here in Upper Lenosha. Now specifically you want to teleport over to Camp Bronze Lake and then go via foot or fly over to Jijaroon's trading post, where you will find, if you go over to this NPC and you click on them and go to the scavenged gear option and scroll down, you will find a bunch of chess pieces, one of which is of course the stained chef's apron for 1684 gil. This is equipable by all classes, every gender in the game, level 40 and above, which makes it one of the best items for the week. So alternatives to the stained chef's apron, although that is, probably the cheapest item this week, it do include the linen smock, which is something you can get from low-level city-state armor vendors. Apparently the augmented Galley keeps whites will work, which is obviously culinarian, as well as the augmented Galley king's apron, and probably some other things that I have not tested this week. But why wouldn't you go for something that is incredibly cheap and equipable by everybody? Other options then include the Sailor Brace or Brace for our legs. In particular, you can get this from a Weaver recipe, or alternatively buy that from the market board, hopping around between servers to try and find one that's actually relatively cheap. Might take you some time, but obviously make use of the data center travel that we have now. Alternatives to this slot, though, if you don't have the ability to get this, include the Moonfire trunks, which is another Weaver craft, or alternatively to all of that, from 2015's Moonfire Fair was the Southern Seas set, which included the Southern Seas trunks, of which are now on the cash shop for real money. But of course, Sailor Brace, obviously one of the better options. There isn't many alternatives here simply because of how strict that particular clue is. For our feet then, for paying the duck bills, I went for the leather duck bills. These are probably the cheapest duck bills out of all of the options you could go for, and you can find these here. Alright, if you're looking for the shoes in question, Gwalter or any other low-level city-state armor crafter will be basically your port of call. You'll find him in the Sapphire Avenue exchange in particular, but of course there is one in every of the 3 starting city-states. What we want to get then is the leather duck bills, which will be on the Disciple of Magic gear tab, levels 1 to 9. And then at the bottom you will find the leather duck bills. These are equipable by all classes, both genders in the game, level 1 and above. And this will cost you 48 gil. Really not pushing the boat out at all there. Probably the best option of the entire week, honestly. Best item at least. Lots of other duck bills will work. You'll find also on Gwalter as well. But honestly, this is the cheapest one. So alternatives to the leather duck bills pretty much include anything that says duck bills in the entire game. Just to mention a couple of those, the amateurs duck bills, also from low-level city-state armor vendors, and the padded leather duck bills will also work. There are maybe like 15 or so of these type of items. This is the cheapest and lowest level, equipable by everybody though, so obviously it's probably the best option. And for our necklace slot, I went for the Danbright choker. You can get this from low-level jewelry craft vendors, such as, so I've teleported over to the Goldsmiths Guild in Uldar here, and I'm just going to simply walk around the corner to Estame's Aesthetics, and you'll find Sileus the Jeweler. Sileus will have, under the Battle Accessories tab, the necklace we're looking for, which is the Danbarite Choker, which is right there, which is equipable by all classes, both genders in the game, level 28 and above, which is 1,817 gil. And alternatives to this, just to mention a couple, include the Pearl Choker, which is a goldsmith recipe, and the Goshenite Choker, which is also goldsmith recipe. There are probably many others, but honestly, the level 28 all classes Danbarite Choker from a vendor is going to be very hard to beat. Anyway, that's the 100. Not terribly bad. However, obviously I can see some people probably looking a little bit pale when they see that they've got to go and try and fight to get themselves a Sailor Brace, especially if they don't have crafters. So if that is the case, let's move on to the 80 with dyes. For the dyes then, as you can see on screen, we've got Ash Grey for our weapon. We have ourselves Million Corn Yellow for any helm in the game. We have Shale Brown on any chest in the game. We have Million Corn Yellow then on both the gloves and legs, any of those in the game. And the Shale Brown dye to finish off on our boots, any boots in the game. So any of your left side that's dyeable, equipped with those particular dyes, and have something equipped on every single slot of your character, including your right side accessories, and you will be guaranteed an 80 score. These dyes in particular are very generous this week. You could just get by just using the dyes, honestly. Ash Grey in particular is an NPC purchaser from low level dye vendors such as Nanabay in Uldar. Million Corn Yellow can be crafted or from a market board very cheaply, and Shale Brown's actually from the Sylphic vendor, the Sylphic Beast Tribe, so that'll only cost you 216 gil a pot if you to purchase it from that. Very good, very affordable, and there's no cash shop dyes, which is awesome sauce, so definitely recommend that one. But if we put all of that information together, we can get an easy 80, so let's move straight on to that. Alrighty then, so for the easiest 80 possible, it should come as no doubt that we're going to be using that Million Corn Yellow again. And of course, those leather duckbills. Surprise, surprise. So the leather duckbills, if you missed the other part of the video, you can get those from a low-level city-state vendor for 48 gil. They are equipable by all classes in the game at level 1 and above, so they're vendor purchased. And then we've simply got any helm in the game dyed, obviously the Million Corn Yellow, and any gloves in the game dyed Million Corn Yellow, which is a crafted dye, very easily acquirable, or of course you can buy this from a market board. And that's pretty much it. That's all we needed to do. We got extra points because we had any old necklace equipped. It doesn't matter what's equipped, as long as there is something equipped in every single accessory slot, and all of your left side you have both of the helm dyed Million Corn Yellow, the gloves dyed Million Corn Yellow, and then those leather duckbills undyed, and you will get yourself an 80 or greater, depending. Very easy this week. Honestly, I think they let us have a freebie. Don't expect next week to be anywhere near as generous as this. I would imagine they'll go back to listing cash shop dyes and all sorts very shortly. So definitely make the most of this one. Put your FC buff on for MGP, your personal buffs, or whatever you want to do, and make the most of this. And yeah, hopefully you can get whatever it is you're saving for relatively quickly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, in the description of this video will be a link to the Reddit thread where this is theorized every week by a bunch of people who take their time and effort to post there, so thank you to them. But much love, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.